We're talking about the Creditor Academy, the vision. I talked about the vision, wow, a long time ago. It was almost 7 months ago. That's how long our YouTube channel has been out. If you are a viewer and not a subscriber on our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. And if you're not a part of our private Facebook group, where we have 2,700 members, an amazing amount, I highly encourage you to join there. We have other gurus, huge networks of gurus that are now members of Creditor Academy, and they post great things, and everybody posts their remedies on there. The original vision 7 months ago, if you were here with us at the very beginning, I started the YouTube channel and I started a video. It was called Becoming an Individual Banker. That was I did not expect that video to go so viral. I got over 30,000 views in just like 24 to 48 hours. And it was climbing before YouTube shut it down. The exciting thing is after that, I got to be exposed to such the large audience that we accumulated during that time. And we've been growing ever since. So what it is that that I really had planned is that I wanted to teach the process of Patrick Devine and his final process. It was the most powerful final process before he left the scene in 2016. He did over 5,560 documents and essays and submissions to various governmental entities before he found the key to liberation in 2016. And then he said, now it's up to you to set yourselves free. This course, live class, as well as featuring it live on YouTube, has been the basis of really the same model of what Patrick Devine did. He was live every single week. He had his website. He had his samples of his documentation. He had open discussions where he can have his audience ask him questions and really push him to the limit to really show what he knows and what he's learned can stand up to scrutiny. I wanted it in the same way here at Creditor Academy, not to just create video content for people to just view, but also for you to come live in this class every Tuesday and Thursday and be able to ask your pinpointed questions of what's going on in your life. You know, is this truth movement real? If you're a first timer, you know, there's a bucket load of information on the internet. Why not go ahead and say, hey, you know, if you're an instructor, let me go ahead and ask you about that situation. My personal consultations since 7 months ago, and I had to kind of lean back on it because Creditor Academy, being an organization of education and empowerment, I wanted to grow. And so I had to be the CEO of the company and my involvement more and more from there. So Creditor Academy started off with just me on my first day, went viral within 24 to 48 hours. I immediately said, viewing how big this is, the Patrick Devine final process and what I wanted to do to help individuals become individual bankers, it was going to take a lot of manpower and resources. So I asked for volunteers. I got over 1,800 applications of people who wanted to volunteer for Creditor Academy. And as with Creditor Academy, I do with all my businesses. I did licensing for the Department of Health across all 50 states. I ran my own home healthcare agency. I graduated nursing school in 2016. I ran a variety of businesses, including software companies and recruiting and staffing agencies for hospitals in North and South Carolina. I was traveling around the country for health for about 7 years. So with all my companies, as I learned, my foundations was my HR department. You know, how do you sift through this many individuals? And I grew up that HR department, and I then grew out my department for the education, my administrators, and so on. So now Creditor Academy has grown up to about 20 solid employees right now. A lot of came and went, and I do international recruiting and staffing for not only our clients, but for us here as well, which is now kind of leading into the vision, okay? Or 7 months ago, my vision at the time was to bring the international attorneys into this game, because a lot of you, as you notice in this truth movement, it's a lot of learning about law. There's a lot. Contracts law. I have the UCC. I got, constitutional law, and I got administrative processes I got to learn, and so on. And so I said, this is a very detailed subject. I myself was studying this subject for a number of months. And when I was doing licensing for the Department of Health, it's a lot of policies and procedures in looking up legal documentation. So I was already familiar hiring international attorneys. So I had my international attorneys help out me with my private processes, just so I can become more efficient. So I have them do my administrative processes, organize my policies and procedures. I had them go ahead and write contractual drafts. And anytime that I would interface with an entity, I would have my attorneys interface with the entities and give me updates, because it's like a full-time job talking to a bank, talking to the water company, dealing with student loans, dealing with any organization that you're trying to get your remedy through and do these notices and conveyances and administrative processes. So it was my school of thought, well, okay, I'll bring in my personal experience, my expertise, and also my connections with international staffing. And if I can apply it to individuals who want people who are proficient at law, now I can give them people who are proficient at law right at their fingertips. So you don't have to become an expert at law. Now, do they know the law of the United States? Not really. But reading the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and other books that are related to the United States is a very easy study to get through. It's knowing everything about the UCC and the common law and contract law that's difficult, because there's a lot to it. Well, with international attorneys, they already know that like the back of their hand. That's what they learn in law school. So that at least cut the majority of the time you need to spend in learning these private processes. And in addition, administrative process, they learned that the first year of law school. So administrative process, they're like, Paul Michael, I do this all the time. I was just like, this is nothing special. I just need to know a little bit of your constitutional law. It'll take me a week to go ahead and study that. So we had a huge shift with Creditor Academy, where I took my recruiting and staffing expertise and I just sunk it all into HR. And so we had such a massive amount of people requesting for international attorneys and sourcing the best of the best for what it is that we're looking for. And as people learn, recruiting and staffing is a tough business, and finding the right person takes time and attention to detail, and also sifting through. So I had to get all of my platforms for Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Monster Jobs, Glassdoor, and so on. I mean, all the major channels. And then I have to sift through all the applicants that come in, and I need to identify an attorney based upon, what their expertise are in accordance to what my client's needs are in. So some people are just like, I want someone who's proficient at constitutional law. I want someone who's really good at contract law or the UCC, and whatever areas of specialties that people were looking for if they wanted to discharge a house, a car, or whatever it is. Now, in addition to that, I started the advisors. We still have the advisors today. They are our hardcore professionals. Like, I've been doing this private game, 6-7 years now. People have been doing it almost 20 years, and we have an administrator of the advisors. They were the support network to the international attorneys for the clients. So the international attorneys worked for you. You would say to an advisor who's an American that knows these processes like the back of their hand, and in order to create a more efficient way of the attorneys to work, you would be paired with an advisor that really knows their stuff. So you'd be like, oh, so I don't need to know all these processes and have the attorney look at me and be like, what do you want me to do, boss? What are we going to do today, boss? Well, I don't know. Just charge my house. Okay, boss, where do I start? I don't know. I hired you. You got to kind of know what you're doing, right? So this is where the advisors come in and be like, hey, if you want to have the goal of discharging the house, this is the standard that it's going to take for you to get there, right? So then all of a sudden, now the attorney's got direction, and they got a American advisor that knows what they're talking about, so they can work more efficiently. This has been the problem for most guru networks. They come out, they have a YouTube channel, they put up a website, you become a member, you got endless amounts of documents and videos, you don't even know where to start. But the main way that they earn money is through consultations. The problems with consultations is you pay your amount of money, and it takes more than an hour's worth of a consultation to take care of your paperwork. And that's the issue. When I was doing licensing for the Department of Health, and I did consulting and, had clients sit with me, I didn't just say, yeah, get you a license. I'm just going to talk to you and, then that's it. No, I had to do 5,000 pages worth of policies, procedures, submissions, communications to the Department of Health in order for you to get approved. This is the level of effort that it takes in order for you to get your remedy. Maybe not 5,000 pages, it's a little different, but there needs to be structure and organization. This service blew us out of the water. We had so much remedy because we were utilizing advisors' time more effectively. And so now the advisors can give an hour of their time, but concise direction, and then the international attorneys can spend their 8 hours a day to actually get the work done and do the research and come back to the advisor to show what they did and what they were able to accomplish. Because all of you and you all have different state constitutions, different banks that you're dealing with, and different issues of payment histories and correspondences that all need to be thoroughly examined. So this is where the attorney comes in. Also, it's very cost effective. An attorney for an 8-hour shift internationally, they're like, what was it? Like $12 a day for 8 hours. Yeah. Try finding an attorney in America that will work for you for 8 hours for $12. It's just not going to happen. So the vision was solid. The vision was solid back then. Now we fast forward. The reason why I'm updating and adding to the vision is because of you. I've had more experiences, more touches with different professionals and other advisors that came into my life that gave me sources of information that I was just blown away about. Creditor Academy has done more for me because it's a network of people who know what they're talking about than I could ever read in a book. And this is why you should join our after hours classes and be a part of our live classes that you do it. Because you're not just purchasing a class and you're like, I watched a video. No, you actually have a professional that's in the class to teach you, so then you can ask questions. That's what makes it a true academy, And in addition with that, we have instructional designers on staff who have master's degrees and have done courses and put them together for the University of Philadelphia and the University of California, the Davis location, which is in Northern California. So we're a professional crew, no doubt. So what is the update of the vision? What is Creditor Academy all about? If you were to join the academy, where do you start? Where's the middle? Where am I leading to? What's the finish line? What can you expect to get? What should be realistic expectations coming into this truth movement of ours, and how I'm structuring it, okay? As I've said, from the very beginning of operating Creditor Academy, it's about 2 industries of thought that you need to master. Number 1 is business. being a business and entrepreneur and operating in the commercial world and knowing how to operate in the commercial world is essential for these private processes. The second is banking, business and banking. Know how to bank. Okay, I got the entrepreneur. I'm now operating in the private. I'm separating my assets. I'm figuring out how to, separate everything from me. But now how do I utilize the negotiable instruments, the bills of exchanges, do my administrative process? That's the banking side of it. That's the banking. So business and banking, that's the theme of Creditor Academy as a whole. So I got to get a combination of those things working for you in my structure. And then there will be featured additional classes that complement the main structure. So you have the main structure of the academy, then you'll have subclasses underneath. The subclasses are in just things that you want to get done that have huge amounts of benefits, but are not really featured as the main structure of Creditor Academy. This could be tribes. Hey, I want to start a tribe. I've heard the great benefits of starting a tribe in the private and doing that process. That's a featured class. Hey, I want to do private driving. Oh my gosh, how do I get the DOT number or the private plates and get that? That's a great additional class, So I have a huge long list, but what's the primary structure of what you need to focus on? And that's what I need to put together. So this is it. This is the main structure, okay? Step one. You've heard me say this over and over again. I don't care what organization you go to, anyone that you so see best fit. But the first thing you have to do if you're coming into this truth movement, especially if you're new, is you need your foundational paperwork done. If you don't have your foundational paperwork done, you can go play in the sandbox and go learn as much as you want watching YouTube videos, but you're not actually getting in the game. Your foundational paperwork is your SPC and your status correction. This SPC stands for Secured Party Creditor. Patrick Devine in 2016 gave it as a reference called establishing a UCC contract trust, okay? It's a similar connotation, okay? It's been 9 years since Patrick Devine, and, terminology has changed since then, but primarily establishing a UCC contract trust, or the SPC process, is getting control of your negotiable instruments. What's your negotiable, of your securities? What is your security instrument? Your bill of credit. That's your Sister KV trust. That's your birth certificate. That's your right to the land, okay? And how it's structured is the grantor is mama, always starts with mama. And then the trustee is the government, because if you can trust anybody to get something done, it's the government, which it never is. And then finally, the beneficiary is you. So it's correcting that. It's kicking out the government. You say, no, because inside of that Sister KV trust, what's being held is your unlimited credits. So you want to kick out the government, put yourself in. You're not going to be involved with my unlimited credits. I can manage my own assets. Thank you very much. The second part is the status correction. Where are you at in society? Are you in a statutory jurisdiction with the state, where you have to follow by the state's rules, the for-profit corporations rules? Or do you want to be in the constitutional republic like our founding fathers put together? That's status correction, putting yourself back into the republic. This is why you see me with badges and IDs. That's the representation of what this gives you the power of. This is how you can privately drive, privately do anything, is your foundational paperwork of status correction. So there's step number one. So now, okay, Paul Michael, I got my foundational documentation completed. What's step number two for me? The step number two is where the unlearning comes in. When you went into school, you learned one school of thought. Put everything under your corporate name. That's your social security number. If you buy a house, a car, get a student loan, get any type of loans, or do contracts or agreements, or even subscriptions, give you that social security number. And what that is taught us in the frame of schooling is that you better not mess up on anything. You better make all your payments. You better be on top of your line of credit. Because if you default on your house or default on a car or default on your student loans, it kills your credit. And also, guess what they get to do? They get to round up everything that that social security number is attached to. So that means you're playing basically a poker game with the dealer or with the casino. And guess what you are every single day? You're all in. You're all in. And if you lose one hand where you're not on top of your game, they take the whole pot. Don't gamble everything that you own. Instead, separate your assets. This is why step number 2 is learn about business trusts. So learn about business trusts. Business trusts are also known as Massachusetts types trusts, fall into 2 categories, the Constitution and the common law. It gives you the most amount of protections against the for-profit corporation that's trying to go against you, and huge tax benefits, no doubt. But it's a unincorporated. It doesn't do business with the state, but you can open up bank accounts with it. You can get credit cards. I got hella credit cards under my trust, and I have so many of them. But primarily, it's separating everything out of your name. So if one house of cards falls, it doesn't affect all your other assets. It just affects that one entity, which really gives you peace of mind. Okay. So now we go into what is the next step. Paul Michael, I now know how to protect my assets and to separate them. I got my foundational paperwork. Where is it that I need to be? Now I want to get into commerce a little bit. And this is where the business side kind of comes in, okay? Kind of comes in, okay? This is a more recent program that we have here at Creditor Academy. But I want to tell you about the structure of Creditor Academy. Creditor Academy is not a business trust. It's not a business trust. I do not operate in commerce with Creditor Academy as a business trust. What Creditor Academy is a private education association, a PEA. What is a private association? Private association is where you only do commerce in business with members only, with the protections of the common law, the Constitution, case law, and contract law. A private association is where individuals come together and they say they come together under contract as a family. This is what gives it the most amount of power. My father bought a really nice bottle of wine. He tried a sip of it. He paid $40 for it. It was a Rombauer Zinfandel. I love it out in Napa Valley, where I used to live in California, in the Sacramento area. And he brought that wine as Zinfandel, and he's like, "Son, this is too sweet for me. I'll sell it to you for $15, and then I'll use the $15 on another really nice bottle of wine I want to do." It's a private family transaction. Do I have to report that to the government? Do I have to say, "Uncle Sam, I got $15 I gave to Daddy"? No, it's not. It's a private family thing. That's how people in a private association are viewed. You're all family. And even inside of your membership application, Creditor Academy membership application, it really goes into detail about what the rights of members are and how the statutory for-profit corporations don't have jurisdiction. I have many people, private associations was a big thing for me because there's no book that's written on private associations. Actually, it's a lot like my father with estate planning. He was like, Paul Michael, in college and law school, they only give you 2 weeks worth of estate planning education, and then that's it. And I was like, "Dad, then why are you an estate planner? That don't make no sense." And he's just like, "Because the versatility, the knowledge, and the service that you can deliver, it's so unique, even though there's no formal book written about it." I was like, then how did you get the knowledge? And he's like, the knowledge is all based upon experience, not only with clients, but people who are also professional estate planners. So he surrounded himself with professional estate planners here in Washington State. And then he created the business out of it by utilizing clients and about who you know, who were able to teach him the craft. It's the same thing with private associations. I scoured with all my attorneys to find information on how to put a private association together and to follow it. It's not about education, what you can find online. It's about who you know. So I invested in connections in California, Texas, and Florida for those who you knows. They have more than combined almost 50 years of experience in private associations, in which I just said I want to be a student so I could be at the same level. So I take my education still seriously, and I'm investing in it. Why is it that I'm talking about this? Is because I have never seen a vehicle entity with the most amount of tax exemptions. It is a tax exempt entity non-reporting. Let me say it again. Tax exempt entity non-reporting. I'm a master at business trusts. If anything, I would argue I'm one of the best. But I can't get below 2%. I always pay 2% taxes. And the reason why is because any Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes over to my business trust or my corporate entity, even though I have protections, I'm operating in commerce in the statutory because I'm dealing with the public. The private association takes you out of the public entirely because it's just members. That's it. So my vehicle for Creditor Academy is the association to do commerce. My assets, my house, my cars, my financial assets are then housed inside the trust, an irrevocable business trust. So now I have so I have this vehicle that I can operate with. So that's it. So there's the second kind of phase of the structure. Now, how do I bring Creditor Academy or even you guys to the next level? Now you have your foundational paperwork available. Now, how do I use your foundational paperwork and get you to utilize negotiable instruments and bills of exchange? This is where the next phase comes in. It's all about your credit lines and your banking relationships, okay? Like my banking relationship or connection is with Charles Schwab. I bring in my promissory notes every month. It goes through no problem, okay? Ever since I brought up the banking connections, there are many of you, over 30 individuals that got Bankers Connects at various commercial banking industries. However, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of you that tried the same thing and it didn't work. It's really about the relationship. You know, it's knowing the right person, talking about the right thing and the way that you do it at the right time. But it's also about your credit. As soon as you get your Bankers Connect, the first thing the banker is going to say is, okay, you can utilize negotiable instruments. You can use promissory notes. You can use bill of exchange, whatever their policy and procedure is. But they said, we're only going to extend the transactions based upon your credit and how much we can loan out to you. So that just changed my whole entire thing. So I said, oh, so you're not going to loan me out unlimited money? He's like, no, we don't do that for anybody. You need to have good credit and good payment history. So that led me into the next phase. I need to be on my credit game the next level. And through Creditor Academy, I have met so many of you. I thought I was good at credit. You know, I got some credit cards and whatever. Some of you got 70 credit cards and you just run this game like nothing. And you put it through your private business entities as well. So that's where the next phase comes in. Bankers relationships and doing credit lines. A lot of you, you know, I would say that I've had consultations with is, you know, we feel a little bit debilitated when our personal credit is hurt or it's not where it needs to be. Now you want to get a loan or you want to utilize your personal credit for a house or something like that. And you're like, Paul Michael, I feel like I'm trapped because it seems like a mountain I have to climb to get my credit to where it needs to be on my personal side. And business credit, I don't even know how to utilize or even get started. Well, I'm here to give you a little bit of confidence. It's a lot simpler than you think. And with 3 to 6 months, you could have such a score that it would blow your mind. And it will blow your mind. And I'm working with some great individuals on credit for exactly that. I need to get your business credit up. You have a private association in a business trust that I can utilize, and your Dun & Bradstreet number that's associated with each one of them. So where I can get your credit score so top notch, so dialed in that you won't have any restrictions. Now, the bankers relationships though, that takes finesse. It really does take finesse. It's not something like a administrative process where you can submit an administrative process and then you get your remedy or a promissory note or anything. It's a relationship. And it's true. Like my father used to tell me, it's not all about what you know, it's who you know. So how do I get you all in front of the right individual of who you know that you could bring up negotiable instruments and bills of exchange the first day you open up a bank account and their arms wide open. Let's talk all day. Let's go ahead and accept this and make it happen. It's international banking, to get straight to the point. International banks are so open to the conversation of negotiable instruments and bills of exchange. They want to get into the American market. It's huge for them. It's big business. And there's bonds attached to them. There's business. There's no pressure when it comes to international banking. And the relationships could be formed very simply just because they want to do business with Americans or people in the UK or people in Australia. You just got to find the right non-Hague Convention banking countries to do it with. So the international banking is a huge part of the academy in teaching how to develop those relationships, but also for the most protections in asset protection. Here in the United States, I have a business trust where I keep a lot of my personal assets and all of that. But here's the thing. You might have your assets inside of a business trust, but you might get hit with a huge lawsuit, or you could go through a divorce and it could totally squander the whole situation because it's all about jurisdiction. Even though you have great protections in a business trust, it does not alienate you from the possibility of a judge to make a ruling and say, okay, the trustee of this trust that you are the trustee of, I'm now changing by my gavel, and now the trustee of that trust is now a court-appointed trustee. And we are now going to take the assets within and divvy them out. This is why you see a lot of asset protection services for the Cayman Islands, for the Cook Islands, for the islands of Nevis, Belize, the Swiss bank accounts. Truly protective banks that no one in the jurisdiction of the United States can touch. It's because they cover four main aspects. The first aspect is that you have a holding company, like an LLC out there, which can hold personal property like houses, cars, and whatnot. Or you can, and then it's housed within inside of a trust. You have a foreign bank account, and it's managed by foreign trustees. The foreign trustees, all they do is just manage the account and say, hey, I'm here to help facilitate anything to be put inside of the bank account or update your trust paperwork. They really don't have that much involvement. And you can fire them at any time if you don't think that you're doing a good job. They're doing a good job because you're the grantor and the beneficiary. So the international side now brings the business trust to a whole new level, because now you have true asset protection that no matter what the jurisdiction in the United States that you're under, no one can ever touch your assets. Not only that, but it opens you to international banking and business, because now you can interact with the international market. Okay. Now, just recap where we're at. Foundational paperwork. Know about business trusts. Separate your assets into business trusts. Learn about private associations. Learn about international banking and how to utilize negotiable instruments with international banking. and learn how to utilize credit privately. Now, great, Paul Michael. I got everything, it feels like, in order right now with all of this. Now, where does the next part go into this? Well, now we hit on to the services of Creditor Academy. As I envision it today, may change in the future, but the services and the support that we want to give you now is to increase your lines of credit and expand your international or local national banking and commerce. So we will provide Creditor Academy the business side. We will offer payroll services, recruiting and staffing services, both local and international. We'll be able to help you do accounting. We have legal services that apply, and so on and so on, and even marketing. You know, we can build websites and do Google ads and so on and so forth. So that's the services side of Creditor Academy. The next side of it, that is the true biggest connection that I was able to develop here with the connections at Creditor Academy, is private payment processing. Oh, wow, I love that. That was the biggest cookie to crack. If you have been with Creditor Academy, you've seen the frustrations with Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Stripe, Square, and so on. I have ran really great companies with my international licensing, or my national licensing companies and home health agencies and all of that, where I had patients. You know, I would send nurses out to a patient's household, and it would pay $40,000 a month for 24/7 care with CNAs, registered nurses, LPNs, and physical therapists. And you know, sometimes you run as best and as square as you can, even licensed by the Department of Health at the time for my home health agency. And I was using Stripe at the time, and they shut down my account as soon as 40,000 went in, and they held my assets for 6 months. I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people that these payment processing companies destroy your business and take your assets. And you have to go through their system, and oftentimes they don't have customer service support that's good at all. And you don't get replies until maybe a month later or so. And then you get no resolution, and they hold on to your funds. I have 40 grand, and I had to flip it for all of those care staff. And then the next month, I just said, hey, I need you to do an ACH bank transfer to overcome these payment processors. So I did a really big deal with the merchant payment processor in order to do private payment processing, because you need a really good solid bank, and you need a really good invoicing software system to do that. And they said, hey, we won't shut down your account for any reason. I don't care how much goes through it. And that was a huge missing piece with the puzzle that we're putting here together. So with that being said, you know, we're getting closer to the end. The Creditor Academy in the graduation is you have everything in your foundation. You've got your business done. You have your foundational paperwork done. You have great credit lines. You already are able to go into the international market. You have great business services where we set up your website, your payroll, your whole back office infrastructure. We are able to get you payment processing so no one can hinder you. You get huge tax benefits from your private association and interacting with one another. Now we get you into your continued learning and your connections, which is our network of instructors and advisors that we're bringing into Creditor Academy. We get more and more every single day that have connections and business relationships with various organizations in different expertise. But also, most importantly, it's the community. It is by far, no doubt, if you want to bring it to the next level, you need to be a part of a community. Your fellow cohorts, your fellow students, the people that you interact with at school and class every day. Hey, did you know this? Hey, I did this. Hey, I'm in this state. Are you in this state? Hey, are you coming to this class on this day at this time? Are you listening to this instructor? It's the networking and the community and the exchangement of information like we have on our private Facebook page, in the after hours, in our private courses and classes that we're offering at Creditor Academy right now, that really bring you to the next level. And really, this is why fraternities and sororities exist, right? It's you join the fraternity and the sorority, so not only that you got great best friends after you graduate, but you become titans of industry. And you say, I did this, I did that, I'm killing it, I'm doing so great. You should invest in my business. We should partner up together and all of that from there. At Creditor Academy, I've already done that with so many of you. I've partnered up, I've made agreements, I've made contracts, we've done courses and all that, and we've grown, we've grown quite significantly. And this is what we want to do, just to lead by example on what we want to do for you. The vision is never ending. And I want to help bring your vision to life with structure and order and with a really great game plan or a syllabus on what you can expect when you join us. Once again, do not miss out. If you have not subscribed yet on our YouTube channel, this is the time to do it. If you haven't joined any of our classes, our private banker course, our business trust 101, our real estate and trust course, soon our private association course, we're going to have a credit course, so many more, in addition with the services that we already provide, like recruiting and staffing, payroll, and so on. Just email creditoracademy@gmail.com to get our auto response of all of our different departments, and also to be a part of this after hours class and to hear the latest when the website is launched very shortly as well. So let's go to questions. Brooks Alden, let's go to you.
Brooks, right?
Brooks, that's it.
Oh, cool. Hey, is it okay, Paul, if I ask you a question about the status change I started? That I've got a question on the form before I can finish it.
I love it. So we have our status correction. You're in our status correction master class that we're offering right now?
Right. I'll be there tomorrow.
Ask me then, because we're going to go into detail about it. Absolutely.
All right. Thanks.
No worries. Amicus, let's go to you. Amicus. Amazing. Periol, let's go to you.
Hi, I have a question about the estate executor social security number. What number would that be?
Well, for your estate?
Yes.
Well, that's the estate EIN. So in our private, the structure of your private bank course at Creditor Academy, I go through the Patrick Devine final process from beginning to end. I talk about the estate EIN, the private banker's EIN, and the foreign grants or trust EIN, what they're utilized for, why Patrick Devine needed those EINs, and how he implemented it in our private processes. Have you taken the structure of your private bank course?
Yeah, but the estate executor, you put in your social security number, but for the executor part, you can't use the same. So I'm not sure what to put there. And I looked through everything and I can't find it.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, you can. You can. There's a nuance to it. And when's the next time you're coming to the structure of this is I just want to promote this class. This was the first class I ever came out with Creditor Academy. It's a $49 class. One time you can come every single week live every Wednesday and Friday. Carol, am I going to see you on Friday? Are you coming to live or Wednesday?
That's just it. I have the Tuesday, Thursday class. So I got it mixed up. The link for Wednesday and Friday then. So I'm in the wrong.
Yeah, got you. So email classes@creditoracademy.com. You're going to get the auto response for all of our classes, and then you register there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, amazing. That'll make it a lot more clear. Then you'll be like, oh, I see. All right. James Richard, let's go to you.
What does graduation from Creditor Academy look like? Is there a la carte diploma thing, or what is your vision on that?
That's a great question. I'm glad that you asked that. My true vision for that is another PMA. It's Creditor Academy is a private education association. You go ahead and you graduate, and we'll extend to you, yes, a certificate of graduation and whatnot. But really, it's to get into the other private association that I'll create, which is the private club. It's basically all the business connections and all the unlimited resources that I have are now to your disposal because you got all the foundational stuff there. I'll let you involved with my bankers connections and the other people part of the group. I'll get you access to actual clubs around the country, to golf clubs, membership clubs. I'll get you involved with the a private boating club as well. It will be a very prestigious organization to kind of get yourself in, and you'll meet the other individual bankers inside of there as well. That's my true vision for it.
Excellent. Don't forget to add the old private airline.
Private airlines, exactly. Private airlines, access to Rolls Royces for, the whole game. That's the true, I freaking made it, man. And being able to get private lending and resources because, having a diploma is great. It's what do you use that diploma with, or certification. So, no, it's going to be just a network of connections. And because by the time you graduate, it's an academy. It's not only learning, it's also doing. So when you actually do everything, you have the best credit profile. You have the most amount of protections. You already know how to operate in the private. You already got everything that you need to go in front of these big connections. And I would be honored to share those connections with you. Also private events. The list goes on and on.
Excellent.
Yes. Okay. For everybody that viewed us on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Before we go, Yolanda, let's show the SPC Under the Christmas Tree special that we have.
Hey, one moment.
No problem. Take your time. Take your time. The SPC Under the Christmas Tree special that we're having is, if you're new to Creditor Academy, we want to help you get involved at the foundational level. Step 1, which is your SPC and your status correction paperwork. So what we're doing is we're pairing not only the paperwork together, but also a master class. When I first got into this movement and I understood, hey, I need my foundational paperwork done, I went through an organization, I learned as much as I could, and I kept on saying, man, I wish I just had customer support. I wish there was an instructor that I can ask questions about what this foundational paperwork means, why I'm submitting it, and a professional that can really talk to it. So our SPC Under the Christmas Tree special involves our masterclass that's every Wednesday and Friday, okay? It ends December 20th is the last class. We're including the class for anybody who got either the SPC or the status correction. Now, you don't have to get both. You could just get one or the other, and we'll bring you into the SPC masterclass or the status correction masterclass, and where there's a live instructors, it's for a live audience, and so on. It's so popular. It's been super enriching to see all the individuals show up to that. But it's also a lot of information, and so we want to give you the ability to answer questions. We also bring in an advisor to that masterclass as well. That masterclass advisor also answers questions, talks about services, but also explains how he discharges things, how he's able to do administrative processes with this foundational paperwork. Every process you do for negotiable instruments, promissory notes, or anything is all related to this foundational paperwork. Also, we're having our other special. Yolanda, let's go ahead and do the badge and ID. Oh, love that. Badge and ID, wow, I didn't expect, I knew it would be popular. I just didn't know we would hit this level. We have a promotional for the badge and identification. Once you get your status correction, your status is corrected. That means that your identification the Patrick Devine identification that we emulate your ID through, and the Patrick Devine badge goes along and complements your status correction. So it's the private bankers promotional. It's an exclusive offer to unlock your private banking potential. You get the Patrick Devine law doc with it. You get the private ID. You get the private badge. And we also throw in the EIN course, which is the Structure Your Private Bank course that I was talking about. This is a limited time offer, you know, for the month of December. We have a gold badge package and a silver badge package. The only difference between the two is the type of badge that you want. I personally like the gold, the silver inlay with the gold inlay. Oh, I love that. And I also love the silver inlay with the silver outlay as well. I love them. I mean, both of them are high quality. We have an amazing vendor for that. And we also have an amazing vendor for the professional IDs as well. If you would like to get the SPC, the status correction, the badges, email sales@creditoracademy.com, and a representative will reach out to you as soon as possible. Yolanda, do you want to promote the badge special in Spanish? That would be cool. I love it when you speak Spanish.
All right, wonderful. Tenemos la promoción de los badges para los bancadores privados. Aquí también se puede recibir sus law docs de Patrick Devine. Igual se puede ordenar su identificación, donde atrás también tiene su barcode para poner su número de pasaporte atrás. El Gold Package se puede encontrar en $3.99. Se compra el ID, el badge y el EIN course, que es el curso de banco privado. Y se puede recibir los law docs de Patrick Devine gratis. Si quieres el platino, el Silver Package se puede comprar en $3.49.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that, Yolanda. It's always a pleasure. If we can stop sharing. Yes, appreciate it. All right. Well, thank you for everybody joining us on YouTube today. I hope this was educational on the vision of Creditor Academy and what we're going to bring out. I'm very excited. Very shortly, the website will be live with all of our courses, classes, and how you can join our organization. But for right now, I look forward to seeing you all this Thursday for our next live class. If you'd like to join, email creditoracademy@gmail.com to get the link, hit the subscribe button, and join our private Facebook group. Until next time, take care of yourselves and your loved ones and have a Merry Christmas. Okay, bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.